I really feel like he's lost his momentum with the fans. I know that some people, yeah, they cheer along with, give these hands, but like that's just a freaking saying that don't mean nothing. I do feel like everything he had like this time. I think this time last year he was just getting really popular, and he was in a feud with Kane, as I believe, and then they ruined it because they started making him Father Christmas and all this other crap that came out afterwards. Just didn't do it for me. And on Raw, he come across like a stupid babyface because I was like, Brock's just laughing at him, and he's playing the giant role as like he for ho. He's sort of stupid all of a sudden. He's turning around, and I'm like, I don't want to see Braun like that. I want to see him as a badass. I want to see him, as a legit threat, which he is with Brock. But I don't know. I mean, this is a good time to do it, but it's also a terrible time to do it because I feel like Braun needs more steam. He needs to get the win. But does that then mean WWE are backed into a corner again where maybe this money from the Saudi is going to be to pay Brock Lesnar's contract here, Matt? Because Brock, he is training UFC. There's no doubt about it. Mark my words, the only reason he's back now is because he's getting paid a hell of a load of money to go back out to Saudi Arabia. I don't think he would have been here had that not been the case, Matt. It's just that this guy's a bit of a fan of his, by all accounts. Anyone between the years, Matt, of sort of 92 to 2003, when this Prince basically watched all of his wrestling by all accounts. So he wants to see all those guys, and Brock happily at the end of 2003 was still there. He was like in his prime, so he's his main memory. So he loves Brock going there. He thinks he's a real deal. So he's really he's going to be in the money. Now, is this the case, Matt, where WWE are going to go back with Brock and go, right, you can do both? You just do what you was doing before, or are they going to be brave and put it with Braun, but then at the same time, have they got anything for Braun after? Like, is this just going to be a case of Braun against opponents where you can't get sympathy on Braun because there's not that many other guys around other than Brock in a lot of ways? Like, where do they go here, Matt, with this? Because so for I've looked at the odds and it is very close. They can't make their mind up because. Is it going back to Brock Lesnar? Is WWE just going to do a safe bet again? And it's almost like we're going back into Brock's realm, or are we past that now and they're going to have to let that go? What do they do, Matt, here?
Oh, yeah, this is a difficult one as well. I mean, those are difficult decisions to be made by WWE this time. But I don't really feel like Braun is ready. It's crazy to say he's had so much time to be ready and be ready to hold that title and represent this company. But I just don't feel like he's there. And although he is a big draw and attraction because of his size and his strength, I feel like sending him out as an ambassador isn't really a great idea. He's not. I don't think he's got that kind of appeal that he can come off like really well spoken and I mean, maybe he is. I haven't seen too many private kind of candid interviews with the guy, but I just don't get that vibe. And Roman, he was that kind of guy. He could talk and not to the best degree, but he had that look about him, and he had that kind of presence. I don't get that from Brock. The thing with Brock is though as well, like. It is a safe bet because we know what to expect with him. We know he has his UFC commitment, and we know we won't see that much of him. But that hasn't been a problem in the past. WWE seems happy to put the title belt on him and not have him show up for 2 months at a time, or even 3. So that's a real possibility to go down that route. But when you think about the momentum that Roman was on and the path he had, he'd just beaten Brock Lesnar, but he never really had that rematch with Brock Lesnar. So there is still that to come off though. There is that way that fans can look at it like it was a fluke. Brock was distracted and Brock never had that rematch. So the momentum is still heavily on Brock's side. So I'd probably still go back to plan B and go with Brock because you can look to someone else. It will take time still to build someone, but someone else can get that rub from Brock eventually.
Yeah, and there are guys that are on the verge, almost there. Not just Braun, but Drew McIntyre is another guy. He's somebody that...
he's not been a substitute in the triple threat scenario here. I was hoping that would be announced, considering the sneak attacks and Claymore kicks he was doing on Braun. I thought that's where they were going.
Yeah, Drew and Elias, these are guys that have got the potential to make that step up. And Drew is such a solid worker. Like, I think he is a little bit above Elias because he's been around, he's been on the indies, he's full of experience, this guy. But he's a heel. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think Elias could be a massive star as a babyface, which you got to be protecting him a lot. But at the same time, you want to make sure his in-ring is ready. And I think those two guys, for me, would be the ones I'd be looking at for the, who can take the belt. I think, I think Matt's right. And again, with Brock, you've always got Paul Heyman as the mouthpiece. His promotion for him is so valuable. I don't really think it makes an awful lot of difference, to be honest with you. Even when Roman was around, we didn't see the belt in action. He wasn't defending it. He was doing the Shield stuff. So we haven't really missed it. We, not having title matches. We've still got AJ with the belt. We've got two champions. We have joint pay-per-views. If anything, it might help elevate AJ's title a little bit more. By not having Brock around, it might do him a favour. He might actually get some main events for good old AJ, which would be a nice thing, wouldn't it? But I personally, I would, if I was WWE, I'd actually say, right, it's about time we put our old belt back at the forefront and have some of them main eventing, and let's put it on AJ. Let's have him as the face of the company for a while, because he deserves it. There's enough guys over that side with Daniel Bryan, enough power to really shift it that way for a little while, and just have the only, I suppose, parts of it where they may be a little bit flaky about having Brock with a belt is if he goes into UFC and gets absolutely ripped to shreds by somebody looking like Daniel Cormier. For Vince McMahon, that would probably be like, how did that little get you? You idiot. He probably looks at Daniel Cormier like nothing, like, oh, that would be an easy victory. I will say one thing, if WWE had any sense, knowing the contract Daniel Cormier has with Fox and SmackDown, they should sign that guy up and get him involved and have Brock get the title now and have that play out on TV, have that match in UFC, and then do a match on wrestling terms, because the DC is such a huge wrestling fan. He would do it, and there's money to be made in it. Brock would do it. Only got to show him the dollar signs and he would do it. And the good thing about Daniel Cormier, he's got something, a very likability thing, a bit like Daniel Bryan. Like, he has something there, and I'm telling you, when you hear this guy speak and everything, he would get over easily with that crowd, like just the way he is. He's so likeable. He's such a down-to-earth guy. As a fighter, it's kind of crazy. He doesn't have an ego, yet he's so good. He's a two-weight champion. I just can't believe WWE haven't reached that already. I personally, if you want to make more money and you say to Dana White, we'll take a small cut of your UFC pay-per-view, if we'll promote the hell out of it on wrestling, on Raw and SmackDown, we'll have them coming in, and then vice versa at WrestleMania, you give Dana White some money back for having DC there. There's so many avenues to doing this. I can't believe WWE haven't already reached out, even before all this, quite frankly. But that is definitely a way they could go, and I hope that they do that as well. So, but we'll see. So it's again in the UK. If you do want to watch it, it's going to be on at 6 p.m. So it's a different time for us to be watching a wrestling show. But like I said at the beginning, if you don't want to see it and you don't agree with it, then what the best way to really show your mark is just don't watch it. I'm sure they'll get those numbers, trust me. But yeah, I think out of this, I do think they're going to get some heat, but we'll see what the aftermath is like. You can only tell until it's happened. We will see. Matt, just to end on a closing, lots of emails in, a few of our live people that are listening live. They all wanted us to talk about this. Can't escape it. Hulk Hogan, Matt. With everything that's going on, are WWE even more brave enough to bring back Hulk Hogan in this current state? would they dare do that, or is Hulk Hogan in Saudi Arabia just to meet the Prince and that's it, and he's not going to be on the telly, or is he going to give out the World Cup or something like that? Do you think Hulk Hogan is coming back on WWE TV for this show?
It's hard to say because we've had these moments where he's been in the same area before and he hasn't made the appearance on TV. I kind of feel like if he was going to ease his way back onto WWE TV, then that would be the night because the audience would be different. They'd be
They hope.
more receptive to him, so that could be a way of getting him in. I mean, the publicity is so bad for this thing anyway. What the hell? Just throw him out there. I don't think anyone will be talking about him. I think other people will be talking about far more, bigger subjects than him on that night. So I feel like he might get away with it if he makes his appearance.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if it's a good idea on my end. I just think they're already throwing enough at this. Again, money's talking here. It's like what he wants, he gets. I've heard that he wants somebody from Japan that's not even under contract from WWE. He wants him there because he looks like Yokozuna. He was at the last one. I mean, it's things like that I don't like. That WWE are just pulling things that they wouldn't normally do. It's almost like, is he booking the show? Is he determining who wins? Should we be asking him? It does feel like that sometimes. Like, I know that he pushed for the whole, he didn't want the Jericho thing in the end, and he pushed for Rusev because he wanted that, and they changed it back. And, you can even hear Jericho talk about that in an interview. He's come out with that. It's quite shocking, really. But you almost feel like, Matt, whatever this guy wants, he's going to get. It's almost like he's Knight. He is like playing fantasy booker for this night, I kind of feel. So that's the bit that's worrying to me about this whole relationship. But even before all this stuff, by the way, this was already my thinking. That's what I'm worried about. But we will see. It should be a fascinating thing, regardless, and we'll certainly be speaking about it. I'm pretty sure of that in the coming weeks. Matt, thank you as always for coming on the show, and it's been good to catch up on wrestling. And thanks for everyone that's been patient enough with us to wait for this. Hopefully, we'll get another one out very, very soon. In fact, we'll try and do one for, say, next week, or if not, definitely the end of next week, because I'm sure there will be a lot to talk about. So we'll try and get one out again. Matt, thank you as always for coming on the show.
Never a problem. It's been a roller coaster of a couple of weeks, and I'm sure it's not ending yet. I'm sure there's going to be some more dips coming our way, and probably a lot more emails coming in after this show, I imagine.
Yeah, I do. And of course, Survivor Series is the next WWE pay-per-view, and the one match announced is, and it's only 3 weeks out, by the way. This is ridiculous. 3 weeks out, and they barely scraped a match up, which was Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. I hate that, by the way. Champion versus champion. Who gives a stuff? Brand supremacy. I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't bother me who's better, SmackDown or Raw. I couldn't give a monkeys. I do. I wish they would have gone with Nia Jax already and Ronda Rousey rather than that match. And it also worries me now because it's probably that probably tells me that it won't be Becky and Ronda at WrestleMania at all now. It's definitely going to be Charlotte, if anything. I think that's just nipped that one in the bud already, which is a bit of a shame. It'll be a good match, but I just wish they would have... I think Becky, she's going to be such a big star. I just think she could have been that person in the WrestleMania role, but come a little bit too early for me. But that's the only match announced. But we'll hopefully have some more matches to talk about by the next time. I really hope we don't. Mind you, if it is Brock Lesnar that wins, Matt, of course it'd be a repeat of last year, Brock and AJ again. If they were going to do champion versus champion on both things, I hope they don't. Be a right waste of time. But yeah, anyway, until the next time, I've been John Scott, he's been Matt Essex, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, folks.